Hello. Welcome to Temple Baptist Church, our devotional time. Certainly glad that you have chose to be with us, spend this little bit of time with us as we share God's Word with you. We're going to look in John chapter 15 today. And of course, as I always do, I never really read all the scriptures, verses 1 through 12, but we're just going to look at a couple of them and encourage you to look at the rest of them. Starting in verse 4, "Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me." And so we're going to talk about the vine today. Jesus is delivering the teachings that is found in John chapter 15. It's not long before his trial and crucifixion. And so he has this last opportunity with his disciples to tell them not to be like Judas, but he wants them to stand fast in their faith and to bear fruit. And so the illustration that Jesus is using here in John chapter 15 is not new to those that were illustrations from the Old Testament. You look at the relevant message 11 times, the message to remain in Him. If you remain in me, in verse 5 it says, you will bear much fruit. So Jesus is wanting them to remain in Him, bear much fruit. Now we're getting into the time of year. Spring is already here. Bushes are already starting to bloom out. My wife loves rose bushes. In fact, we have several of them at the house, and every year her brother, who lives beside us, comes over, trims those rose bushes back, and when you look at them after they're trimmed back, you think, man, they're not going to make it. But then here they come. They come back up. They put out those beautiful deals. You just look at it. It may be surprising, the beauty you get from this results of the harsh cut. Now, these roses, or any other bush that you prune back, sometimes it's really harsh to them, it looks like. But Jesus, I think, to describe God's work, chose this to describe God's work among the believers when He says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Each branch that does not bear fruit, He prunes so that it will even be more fruitful. In other words, it's used to increase the fruit. The rose bush, if you didn't trim it back, it will bloom, but it won't bloom as much as it does once it's pruned back. And so, Jesus just wants to remind us that in good times and bad times, God is always working towards spiritual renewing and being fruitful. During pruning season, our suffering or anything that may come our way, emotional barrenness, we may wonder if we're going to ever thrive again. Sometimes we get in that life, but Christ encourages us to continue to stick close to Him. What did He say? No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. We have to be drawn spiritually closer to God. We are continually drawn that spiritual nourishment from Jesus. The resulting beauty and the fruitfulness of our lives, it will show the world God's goodness. That's what we're all about today, showing God's goodness. May God bless you is our prayer. Our service times here at Temple, 8 o'clock Sunday morning, 9 o'clock for Sunday school, 10 o'clock, 6 o'clock Sunday night, 7 o'clock Wednesday. We'd invite you to any and all of those services. May God bless you.